Hey everybody, we're live from the barn today and we're chatting about 3 bits that we're loving right now. So if you are in a position where you think you might need to change up your bit and just to change things up and maybe get your horse broke a little bit different way and get them thinking about you again, there might be some options in here that will work. If you have questions for us, you're welcome to leave those here for us in the comments as we go along, whether you're finding us on Facebook or Instagram or on YouTube. We would love to answer those questions for you either while we're live or afterwards. We'll try to swing back around and get to those. And if you're looking for ways to work with us, our website is here in the comments. It's hayescofeldperformancehorses.com. We have all of our info there about coaching and training and our online programs, as well as the tack that we sell. So we're going to talk about 3 bits that we're loving right now. We also had a lot of questions about the Can-Am. We were just at the Can-Am Equine Expo in Ancaster over the weekend, and we had a lot of questions about how that went. So we're going to answer that briefly as well. Do you want to start with one of the bits that you are loving in the barn right now?
I think before we get to that part, we should talk, I think for me, the main one that I always go back to is the little 1x1 correction, or the little, like a twisted snaffle with the copper wrap in. I think those are my 2 go-tos no matter what. Mm-hmm. This time of year, I find myself, the 3-year-olds are getting advanced enough where I'm putting them in different bits. The 2-year-olds are getting advanced enough that I'm taking them out of a regular snaffle. So I'll play around with a little bit. And I don't really want to have a lot of twisted snaffles in their mouth just yet. They're still just learning to pack their heads around where to go.
The 2-year-olds.
Sorry, the 2-year-olds.
Yeah.
So this time of year, I'm riding a lot of 2-year-olds. Not this one, but the same bit as this one. And it's a really thin mouthpiece. It's smooth. It has a little copper inlay here, but it's really smooth. This one here is just a little bit mullen. Sometimes I have one that doesn't have any, but this one here has a little bit mullen to it. The reason I like it is it's not big and bulky in them little babies' faces where it's holding their lips around. And I can pull on it, I can move them around. I'm not rubbing anything like with a twist if I want to kind of rub into their chin a little bit because they're getting stiff. But at the same time, because it's thinner, they don't feel it when you're just letting them go, but they feel it a little more when you bring them up. And I think that's the thing that I like about that snaffle bit this time of year. And then babies, you know, they've just had enough time. They're moving their bodies around enough. And it's a wonderful little bit. That's what I start the 2-year-olds in. And they're still into that one. That's like one of my, I guess for the snaffles, I have the 2 of them. I have the small one like that. And then I have the twist. And the small one I use quite a bit. What's your favorite?
Well, going back to what you said originally, like we use a lot of those 1x1 corrections. We use 2 different shank lengths and a couple different shank styles an awful lot. But what I was thinking of was less training wise, like less bringing horses along and more about the horses that belong to the clients that are taking lessons and showing with us. So some of them are kind of coming out of the training program and into being shown by the owner, by the non-pro. Could be a green reiner or a rookie or a non-pro. And some of them have been owned and shown by the same rider for a few years. And so we're looking for options to switch them up. And I think this one has been one that I have been reaching for a lot. Partly because I really like an ace of spades. And this one has a similar action, and it has the roller in here. And so a lot of horses that get used to kind of pushing on the bridle, if they're not getting lifted up all the time from their rider. If a lot of horses that will kind of get pushing on the bridle and opening their mouths and kind of playing with it, they'll find that they can move this with their tongue, and it will all of a sudden just get their attention back. It pacifies them a little bit. It stops them from opening their mouths, and it's just a different feel in their mouth to pay attention to. So I have been gravitating towards this one a lot this winter, I think because we've had so many green reiners that have been riding in those 1x1 corrections, and some of those other little bar bits to go to this one has really been working out nicely. And some of them are this Calvary shank, and some of them are the Loomis shank, which is just the straight bar. It doesn't really matter to me, the shank, a whole lot, but this nice spoon with those rollers I've really been liking. And it has that copper inlay on the inside as well.
I think one of the things that always has to be mentioned about these bits too is, I mean, they're not for 2-year-olds.
No.
But they're a really nice bit because they're so spoon back up here. It's just a little hard to see at the angle. Yeah, I can't really get it. This part here is spoon back. So what happens is it lays on the top of their mouth, and then you end up pulling more on the bars of their mouth and the curb strap than you do on like some of them bigger corrections that are straight up and down. Those ones can bite just a little bit on the top of their mouth. This one here, a lot of people have a misconception about it being really tough. It's actually quite the opposite. It's a very forgiving bit because it spoons back so far. It lays in that horse's mouth, and when it comes up, the way I always describe it is, if you took a spoon and you put it one way, which is the spoon part or the oval part, I don't know how you describe it, smooth part against the top of your mouth.
This part against the top of your mouth versus this
It doesn't
part.
hurt. Now you flip that thing around, which is like a straight up correction or any straight up bits. I mean, we used to show a lot of Western pleasure horses and them real straight up bits because they would stay behind them and be really intimidated. But when you have them spooned, you're now working off of that, sits against the top of their mouth. The pull is on their bars and on that curb strap. And it makes a nicer pull, and it's a different pull. It's a little more forgiving than a right straight up and down bit. If this were to be straight up, this part here, the port, if that was straight up, that changes the bit. It's not even close to being the same bit. And that's always something that you really want to think about, is knowing how that bit sits on the top of their mouth, the bottom of their mouth, and the curb strap. And they're a very nice, forgiving bit. Legal in the NRCHA, legal in AQHA, NRHA. It's legal everywhere. And it's a really nice bit for people that are just going to leave their hand alone and then all of a sudden bring it up fast and not really know where it's going to be, maybe, which happens when you're learning. It's fairly forgiving through that pull. And the horses understand that it's not going to grab hold of them like a straight up and down port or a straight up and down, even the ports on the corrections and whatnot.
Yeah, and then that particular one is that nice smooth steel with the copper, which is just nice for salivating and playing around with it. They do rust up a little bit, and the horses really like them. They have a nice feel, a really nice feel to them. Do you want to talk about this one?
This bit here is not legal in AQHA, in the reiners or the cow horses or any of the performance events, but it's a small gag, has a little float, we call them a floating spade, but it's not really that high to be that worrisome. And the benefit that we use this bit a lot on is the horses that are coming in where the pressure's getting amped up a little bit. Maybe we're working them on the flag a little harder. Maybe running down the walls a little bit on some cows. Or even the reiners where, maybe the people are starting to run them a little bit more, push them a little bit more, and they're just unsure where their hand is going to be. The gag, it's a horrible name that they call them a gag bit, but
And it's not illegal because it's tough. It's not a tough bit.
It has a lot of warning that you're coming in before you pull on the shank. And we use this bit for a lot of lesson people when they're just unsure where their hands are to save the horses so that they don't get that bump at the very end of it. I use it a fair bit. Let's say I'm going to be a little faster on something and that horse is going to be a little bit unconfident, and it just allows them, if they want to root down a little bit or they want to push up here, they want to figure their own bodies out. I'll put them in that where it's not as rigid. Or if I have a horse that maybe has packed somebody down a whole bunch of times and they're just a little bit scared of their head getting pulled on wrong, I'll definitely pull them in that. Anything where that horse doesn't want to just go forward because they're scared they're going to pull up. If I have a very sensitive mouthed horse, I'm usually going to put one of these in there, and I might even just go one step further and wrap these bars with a latex wrap. But we ride not a ton in these, but this time of year we definitely find we ride more in them, and we're trying to mix up some greener riders with some horses, and it really saves the horses. This bit does not work on big, heavy.
It doesn't work when you need to back them off or when you need a bunch of leverage.
No, they definitely don't do that.
No.
We were just discussing this in the barn this morning. I mean, when I was a kid, long time ago.
Long time ago.
You know, we used to run a bunch of barrel horses and stuff, and, you know, we would buy, you know, not the fanciest ones in the world, and we would put them in these because they weren't offended. Did I get run away with a few times on some barrel horses that we bought? Oh, yeah. But they weren't offended in their face. They weren't mad because somebody was going to bang into them, you know, from being over-bridled. And then once they got their confidence back, you could kind of figure them out from there. And the one thing I like about this one compared to like a rope gag is when you get to the end of the part that slides, then you actually have a regular bit and you can pull on them from there. It's not legal to show in. I mean, it's legal in the barrel horse world, but it's not legal in the show horse world. But they're a wonderful little bit if you have a horse that just isn't sure where to put their face, just isn't, you know, they kind of have to learn self-carriage.
And that one has the roller, so they can be playing around with that roller without having all the leverage of this one, if you're not ready for that much leverage.
And this one has kind of a neat thing too, why it works so well. Not only do they play here, but this part here they play with. And so, and that's what makes part of it not legal too, is that it floats so much. So the horse can really move it around on his tongue. And I think that's one of the benefits of it is, you know, they're a very forgiving bit if somebody needs to go say sorry a little bit. Or before they have to say sorry.
Ideally before, yeah. So those are three of the bits that we're loving in the barn right now. This one for sure is available on the shop. These ones, if they're not available right now, then it's just because we need to update the inventory from the Can-Am, but I think we have 2 of these left. And you can check those out on our website. The direct URL is Raining Tack Canada, or you can go through our regular website, hayescofellperformancehorses.ca, and then in the menu, just navigate to the tack shop, and you can find all of those there. You can also find that snaffle there. And our favorites. You can always find the twisted snaffle. You can find the 1x1 correction. And if you are not sure what to purchase, just shoot us a message. We would love to help you with that. The other question we had was about the Can-Am All Breeds Expo on the weekend, which we went to last minute. And if you were disappointed that you missed us, I'm sorry. It was a last minute decision. And that's why we didn't let you guys know ahead of time that we were going. We were actually planning to go to a different horse show, and that plan changed. So we called up to the Can-Am, and they were good enough to give us a spot, and then we brought all of our tack up, and then I ended up doing a couple of clinics as well, just filling in for people who were not able to do them. So
And by last minute, we do say Wednesday afternoon,
we called to see whether they could have a space for us, and people had already started moving in on Tuesday. Last minute, but we have a great team here in the barn, and everybody helped get our entire tack shop. It's not put back together yet. You can see in the background here we have some of the things that needed to be hung up flat, hung back up, but everything else is still in boxes. So we have a great team here, and everybody was awesome getting us all packed up and set up. And if you were at the show, then you probably met Katie. If you're at the show on Friday or Sunday, you might have met Katie, who is phenomenal and helps with a bunch of the tack here. And yeah, we had a good weekend. What's the recap? Like, everybody just wanted to know how it was. Snowstorm Friday made things a little bit quiet. We had a lot to organize still on Friday, so that wasn't such a bad thing for us, but we had some steady sales, got to see a lot of faces, which was great. You came up Saturday. How would you say Saturday was?
I thought Saturday was great for us. I know a few of the vendors were a little down and stuff, but great for us. I think because we have just a specialty type of tack. I mean, it just worked for the people that came in. They knew what we had, and
yeah.
It was neat to see a bunch of people I haven't seen in years. Also met a whole bunch of people I've never met before in my life.
Yep.
So that was kind of neat.
Also
we
saw
had not
some
done
people that
shows.
said hello to us, and we weren't sure who they were.
Yeah. Lots of that.
That's great too, though.
Oh, I think it was I have not been to one of those trade shows in...
No, we haven't been for a while.
10 years? Maybe not 10 years, but it's
Yeah,
been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah,
And
probably.
it's definitely a different...
Since the kids were born. Since Mackenzie was born. That's 8 years. Yeah.
Well, it was good. It was... I didn't go see any of the... I didn't go anywhere from our booth to the Buck and Bull, so the girls could ride the mechanical bull.
The mechanical bull a bunch, yeah.
A lot,
yeah.
and wanted to do it much more.
Now they want to have a mechanical bull birthday party. Did you hear that? Yeah.
I kind of...
Oh, you decided that was a good idea?
I also told them that you should ride it more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was nice for us to get out. We were planning on going to a horse show, and that plan changed last minute, so...
Yeah.
It was nice to get out. It was nice. I thought we did more business than I thought we would do. I thought it was good.
Yeah. The reason why we have this tack shop is because we feel so strongly about making really good equipment at good prices, but like really, really good equipment available for people on this side of the border. I think we've worked really hard to curate this collection of things, and we import it, we order it, and we import it, and we don't do a great job of advertising it. Almost all of our purchases are from people in the barn and referrals, and we appreciate that so much. But when the opportunity came up that we had that flexibility in the schedule, we just thought we need to get out and be face to face, and for people to be able to actually touch the reins and, see everything in life. And
touch the saddles. See the
touch
difference
the
in them.
saddles. Yeah, it's hard to tell quality when you're just looking online. It's so much nicer to actually be in person and actually pick up one of these bits and feel the quality and how well balanced they are, or feel the reins. We sold all out of reins, which we've had reins that have been sitting in the barn for a while. We don't sell very many reins on the online tack shop, but in person, when people can feel them, they just snatch them up because they're
we
great.
do when we go to horse shows.
Yeah.
We sell when we're there, that's for sure.
We sell at horse shows. We don't sell. There's some products that we just don't sell a lot of online. So
I
yeah,
thought it was good. I thought I didn't see the clinics and the performances, so I'm kind of a blank at that stuff. But
I didn't
the amount
either.
of people that went through, I didn't even make it to the rest of the vendors.
No.
We stayed in the booth, and there were a lot of people walk through.
Yeah.
I don't know the numbers at the show or nothing, but
I know that the headlining clinician Luke Gingrich brought a lot of people in. Like the stands were full for his clinics, and I know that Trevor Mertez, I believe his name is, who just won the Extreme Cowboy, like for the world. He just won the Extreme Cowboy down in Texas. He seemed to do very well. There were lots of people that were in there watching those clinics.
I think that was neat because it was a different group than we're used to.
Yeah.
Like the clinics. I mean, and I think in the show world, we all kind of, wow, it's not our thing. It's not our thing.
It's not our thing. But that's kind of great to have different things in one place.
Yeah, and especially when you talk to the people that do, that put on the clinics, even if it's different disciplines, especially a guy that I worked for many years, everybody just calls him the Dutchman, but he would pick everybody's brain, but might just kind of work on another horse sometime, and but I also didn't get to go see him. I was gonna go watch. There was a lady there doing equitation that I kind of wanted to see, but I didn't get to go see that.
You were stuck in the booth checking people out with the app.
And anybody that tried to figure something out or have me figure it out on the phone, oh boy, I'm sorry.
You figured it out.
Sometimes.
Figured it out. You got it.
A couple people finally got fed up of just waiting, and they were like, "Can we just give you cash and you figure it out later?"
Pay you transfer or cash? Yeah. Yeah, the equitation clinic was last minute, and it turned out that the person who couldn't come was doing equine. I can't remember what her slogan was, but it was like body mechanics for riders. So that worked out really well for me because I know a little bit about that. And one of the riders who was supposed to be in that clinic is somebody who has taken some lessons from me before. So that was great to have her in there and riding. And then a couple of the Canadian cowgirls jumped in and did that. That was awesome. The crowd was enthusiastic and lots of positive comments, and it was fun. It was fun to do that and teach everybody a little bit more about what I know about and what I like doing all the time. I thought the show, I know a lot of the vendors said that the show was busier last year than it was this year. I feel like that's a really hard thing to gauge, but I mean, it's totally possible. So we don't have that to compare to. When people are asking us, how was it? We weren't there. We haven't been there for the last few years. We were not there the last few years when it's been over on the other side of Toronto. But I thought overall it was good.
Any crazy stories?
If you came into the booth and you bought something, thank you. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for saying hi. Thanks for looking at everything and choosing to buy with us. We really appreciate it. There's some crazy stories. I think I'll keep them to myself for now. Do you have any crazy stories?
Well, just you asking me on Wednesday, should we go do this?
We go do this. Yeah.
That was pretty crazy.
What I will say about
taking two kids to a function and trying to wrestle that around.
A lot of it was crazy.
I want to say, well, thank you to the people that run the Can-Am.
Yeah.
I don't know them personally, but that's a big undertaking.
Mm-hmm.
What was the lady's name?
Liz.
Liz.
Yeah.
And what was the gentleman's name? Ross Miller.
Yeah.
That's quite an undertaking.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to the artists and the tractor guys.
Oh my gosh.
For putting up with our
kids. Yeah.
I wish I could remember their names. There was the Case dealer from
Case Tractors.
Listowel and around there. And my kids annoyed the heck out of them. and they were awesome with the girls, and there was an artist.
There were a couple artists, yeah.
And they did some really cool stuff. One did painting and let Mac do a brush stroke, so she was just over
on the brush stroke that got auctioned off on the Saturday night. Yeah, it was really beautiful painting.
So Mac was over the top, and they were just great with them. So I wish I could remember their names. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, it takes a village.
And we really fail sometimes.
The kids had a great time. So.
Oh my gosh. Between that and the mechanical bull and the people just coming in and out. I mean, everybody makes a fuss over the girls.
Yeah, yeah.
They're the cute part of the store.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you watch these Facebook Lives and you came to visit us, that's really cool because... I
couldn't believe the distance some people came.
Some people came from really far away.
That was neat when they said hi, and I was like, where are you from? And I was like, holy moly.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, like up the other side of Ottawa and stuff. And Sudbury.
Ottawa, the Great White North.
Yeah. No, it's really cool because when we do these, like we sit here in our tack room with the phone on a tripod here, and we see how many people watch it, but, you know, it's nice to meet you in person and hear about your horses and...
and some people tell us where they're from on the comments.
Yeah, but it's really cool.
Different parts of North America.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
But, or not just North America, even there's the Australians and whatever. But yeah, it was really cool at a function like that where people were from scattered all over the Ontario. And some people...
I cut my horse's tail because of your Facebook Lives, or it was cool. That was neat. We always like that. So, yeah, I think that the Can-Am was great. We're gonna plan to go back next year as long as the dates all line up. And we'd love to see you. Are you
gonna
prepare ahead of time? Or? We'll see. Yes, I will prepare ahead of time so that we can really deliver. Yes. Okay, thanks for being here with us, you guys. Hopefully you got some good ideas on bits. And as always, thanks for sending your questions in. If you have a question for us for a future live, you can send it in to us wherever you are finding us, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. And you can also send it to our email, hayescofelph@gmail.com. We would love to answer a specific question for you and help you out with your horses. Have a great day.